Welcome back to some professional StarCraft, to an action-packed best of 3. One that I almost forgot I wanted to show you guys, but I'm glad to be here now. Introducing in the top right, at least mostly in the top right. You can already see on the minimap some shenanigans, but the French Terran, it's Clem. Arguably the best microer outside of Maru for Terran, or even in general. He's always willing to put both his units' feet forward and trust his micro to get him out. He's opening up with a Mako Rex against a Protoss player who terrorizes the European ladder, the Croatian on Team Marathi. It's Goblin. He's always on the outside looking in, at least recently. When it comes to the top tier matches, he can hang with the best, but he's usually chilling with the rest. Oh, we really need to script these better beforehand. But he definitely can challenge Clem, I think. But Clem is the heavy favorite going in. A heavyweight in any European qualifier. Anything like that. Dreamhack Valencia, IEM, Home Story Cup, anything in between. So we're going in assuming Clem has the advantage. But who knows how these two have played each other lately. I haven't seen too many matches, but starting off a little spicy. The Mako Rex designed to cause panic, essentially, to get the Protoss player afraid of a Reaper right outside their base. And who better to micro Reapers than Clem? Even after Byun got him nerfed, Clem picked up the torch, and he's been carrying it across. Jimmy, I want to be able to see the health bars. Okay, come on. This isn't like an artistic interpretation of StarCraft. I need the information. He's building a stalker. What does that mean? Well, that means he's not exactly sure what he's up against right now. And he wants to play it safe. An Adept is a bit of a half measure at this point. The stalker gives you more options later on. The Reaper actually takes a shot at the destructible debris, the anti-cannon rush debris there. And the Stalker being chrono boosted in time means no particular shenanigans afoot. No panic from Goblin. Just shield battery is about the extent of it so far. He's got a Stargate in production, a second Stargate. He actually delayed Warp Gate a ton for this. But if you're opening Stargate, really the focus is on affording those relatively expensive Stargate units and not pumping out a bunch of Stalkers past the early few to defend yourself. Because he already saw the factory on the other side of the map. That means it's very likely going to be Cyclones, possibly a tank, occasionally Widow Mines. Anything like that, you're not going to deal with gateway units so much as well. Phoenixes. He is on Team Marathi, which means there is sort of like a unwritten obligation, or maybe written, I'm not sure. Obligation to go for Phoenixes whenever possible. Goblin opens up with it, and it's a strong choice. You can shut down the Cyclones before they even start. Phoenixes do not get one shot by Widow Mines, which makes them a lot less vulnerable in the early game against those factory openers. Of course, they build up energy and get better with time as well. Twilight immediately, before I could even mention it, or mention the potential follow-ups. There is, of course, Phoenix into Colossus, but Phoenix into Twilight, I would say, is slightly more common, as that allows you to go into, well, you could go either direction. It might be Blank, might be Charge. Charge is the more anti-bio option. Citizen's Arrest. The probes come out and kill the Reaper. What did it see? He saw the Stargate. He saw Phoenixes. He's going to see the third. Clem right now. Kind of tucked back in. He's down 11 workers, 10 workers. And Goblin is taking a third at the moment. So, Clem, he's going to need to make some sort of push happen. He's not going to have a starport. When does he decide to move out? Does he wait for Stim and Combat Shield, or does he just go as soon as possible? It's like right now, even though he wants to have as much bio as he can put together, the fact that Phoenixes are only going to build up in number and Goblin is going to have more and more time. You don't want the third Nexus to finish, because then you can have overcharge for defense, and that's a huge part of especially early game defense. Clem right now is trying to hit before overcharge. That's my interpretation. Oh, the Phoenixes slide in. They pick up the Cyclone, knock it down. Clem now looking. It's 5 Phoenixes on top of these gateway units, just covering underneath. 1 tank picked up and knocked down. The other 2 tanks enough to contend with. The Zealots have to retreat, all but 1 down. And going to continue forward is Clem, despite you don't really want to turn tail too much against Phoenixes, as they may just chase you down. Charge is nearly complete. There's only 2 gateways right now. He can't warp in that many units. The Nexus will finish. Shield battery overcharge is on the table. A bunker being added in for Clem here, making it a little more difficult. I think he's figured out this is indeed the Star Charge play. Phoenix Charge Line. Oh, looking for more. Stim, done. Combat shield. Gun down the Phoenix that was picking up the tank, but the charge lots will chew up the rest anyways. Not sure that actually helped. Meanwhile, the Marines jammed in by the bunker, but Goblin with a clean up here. That was about as comfortable of a win. Wow, yeah. 19 Marines, 3 tanks, a Cyclone, a Reaper, and a couple SCVs for just 9 charge lots of Phoenix and a probe so far. But there's no 2 ways about it. Goblin's in the lead. Clem, he has 2 tanks back at home. There's enough Marines to ward off those Phoenixes, and he did whittle down the charge lot count, so I don't think Goblin can really press in for the kill here. But, I mean, the Phoenix count is high enough that the Marines are just being whittled down. The charge lots, as soon as the Marines are spotted in the main, may decide to go into the natural. Medevacs are completed. Pylons out here. There's a robotics facility finishing. Goblin's up 10 workers right now, going into a comfortable mid-game. Clem, what are you going to do? He's got Widow Mines on the way. He's built his command center and his barracks in kind of a pseudo wall, more like a maze, for those charge lots to wander through into the rifles of the Marines. Goblin has decided, instead of bashing his head up against a wall filled with tanks and Marines behind it, he's going to get more ahead. The classic, tried and true strategy of just taking map control, denying your opponent's economy, and making it even harder for them to beat you down the line. Of course, I think if Goblin thought he had a high percentage chance of killing Clem, I think you take it. I think you go for it. You don't give him an opportunity to crawl his way back. But the second best option is securing that third, getting the upgrades, and adding the robotics bay. So you got a flavor of splash damage potentially added in. The Colossus, extended thermal lance on the way. The scan spots the third. There is a gas, but only 1. Hasn't yet seen the 4th, though maybe the probes are giving it away here. The Widow Mines are a double-edged sword. Well, more like a double-edged grenade, which... don't think too hard about it. I think grenades usually have a lot of edges, but the point is the Widow Mines are just as, if not more, deadly to Marines as they are to Zealots. And if the Phoenixes are able to drag them over, if Clem is not able to zone them out correctly, well then guess what? Oh, he has vision! A sieged-up observer in surveillance mode over there. Able to whittle down the Widow Mine count. Widow Mines unburrow, tank siege, and enough Marines and Marauders. Somehow the supplies, or even Clem's macro, is so efficient. We know him for his micro, but just to keep up with Goblin here, he's been down on economy and basis. The upgrades, he's actually ahead. Goblin got those forges pretty late. He wants to be careful about picking any fight. Honestly, until extended thermal lance is done, and 1-1, that's dicey at best. Is he gonna just try to drag these over? He takes, oh my, it's a disaster! Oh, he tried to have it all! Oh, the Widow Mines connect with the Phoenixes. The charge lots are gonna drive a lot of the bio back, but Goblin, he saw it. Oh no! That's an absolute disaster. You saw what he was going for. He had more Phoenixes than there were mines, I'm pretty confident. It's just the timing had to be perfect. Clem gunned down a couple, and right now his Marines either got to go to rehab or home because the stim addiction is costing them most of their HP. Overall, though, he just didn't get all the Widow Mines in time. 2 or 3 Widow Mines connected, obliterated much of the HP of those Phoenixes, made them easy pickings for the Marines, and just like that, wham, bam, thank you, ma'am. Clem's right back in. And in fact, does he have a lead? It's close. It's real close. Oh, that's maybe not where you want to pick up those medevacs, though he might not know it. Goblin does keep his 4th base. He has 8 gateways, which is probably not as many as he'd like, but is enough to get the job done. He's now got 5 Colossi. Those would have been nice to have in the last fight. The Bio Army just kind of wanders past us. Zealot realizes, so does Goblin. The spotter pylons, observers. How many observers on the field? 2, with 1 being added. But whatever sort of deficit Clem was in has evaporated alongside those Phoenixes in that fight. We'll have to see. Now, this is about the time when you usually start adding some disruptors into the mix. The disruptors, just to give you another form of unit to deal with. There's only a handful of Vikings here. A huge number of charge lots. 22 Widow Mines chopped down by the Colossi and the Zealots. The Bio Army being hunted by the remnants of the Phoenixes. I think he added a couple more new ones in. A factory. Wow, Clem is going for the old school Terran. He's just cut the factory out entirely, lifted it off, and jammed it somewhere useful. Just doesn't even want to worry about it. There will be no more mines, no more tanks. It's going to be Vikings. It's going to be Ghosts. Jimmy, give me the matchup guide. Yeah, well. Meanwhile, we're still looking for the disruptors. But overall, things are shaping up nicely. I mean, come on, guys. I'm casting this game. It wasn't going to just end. You never know. Here comes Clem. He's now approaching... Well, both players are approaching maxed out. The armies, it really is going to come down to the engagement angle. Did you know there are rocks here? I think Goblin just realized it. He's trying to open it up now. I still can't tell if it was a misclick or not. The Ghosts are a massive threat. Enhanced Shockwave's not quite done. EMP lands, hits some of the Stalkers. Guardian Shield to help. Vikings, a dozen of them. And the War Prism, the first target, and probably the most valuable individual unit the Vikings could easily get a hold of. Targeting the Colossi, almost killing them in a single volley. +1 ship weapons is complete. The stutter step on the Vikings is not... He's a little too quick. I think some of them are hotkeyed in with the rest of the army, and that's making things difficult here for Clem. Forced to micro back. Clem at 200 supply. Ruptors on the way. A unit that isn't so tall it knocks its head on Viking missiles. I still want the Colossus headbutt upgrade. Real missed opportunity there. Triple drop towards the main. Charge lots will intercept. What a weird exchange. The charge lots were already on the ground waiting. And the Phoenix is intercepted. They drop out, but the charge lots do die because there's way too many Marines there. 16 Vikings now, but a disruptor. One fires the shot from further back. Bit of a miscall on that. Enhanced Shockwave's done on the Ghost, which means EMP washes over the army. Without shield battery overcharge, you can't expect to consistently have shields. Vikings knocking down Colossi, down to 2, adding more. More disruptors coming up. A Goblin not microing the disruptors in front of fire. Another shot. A single medevac remains. Actually clips a decent amount of the army. Clem, Vikings on deck. The Vikings on the ground with their damage against mechanical are actually not a bad counter to Stalkers and technically disruptors. Of course, the disruptors can counter them in turn. Goblin holding on here. He's got 10 gates. He's got a lot of money in the bank, but it's a very stressful situation. You're holding on against Clem. You know at any point, Clem might just split his army into 2-3 pieces and make it incredibly difficult. EMPs, but disruptors ward the army back. The Vikings are walking home to get repaired. They're scared of flying. Okay. They got to get their new firmware update. Oh, they're just worship. Okay, well, R&R. Very important. Clem understands. He's French. He knows the value of keeping the working class happy. Or else. Disruptors trading shots as more than strong words are exchanged across the vision blocker here. A scan, disruptors, marauders, disruptors, back and forth. A pylon taken out on the right flank. Finally, entire 100% done planetary finishes before that pylon is taken out. The Vikings did not actually get repaired. Are forced to sit right back down. The SCVs say, we'll get to you when we get to you. Are only just now reminded. He's queuing up the repair. I don't think he has him on auto repair. They've got a Dark Shrine on the way as these armies get more and more dangerous to one another. And to themselves, technically. With EMP and Disruptors. There's a lot of friendly potential. Though definitely more for Goblin. +1 ship weapons, or +1 air weapons on the way. +2 ship weapons is done for Clem. But air weapons being added for Goblin, which means he's anticipating a transition into a more air-based army. I'm not sure what that looks like, but he doesn't want to have to deal with ranged liberators and have no air. Vikings are kind of wandering into the ground, trying to get in front of things, but the disruptor volleys, the broadside is connecting. Is the stalker count high enough? 3-3 done. A fadeaway shot just misses the mark as Clem wanders forward. A warp and 10 more charge lots on the way. The stalkers, their shields stripped, but the charge lots charge in as they do. DT Blink starts mid-fight. Clem now has medevac, almost more medevacs than he has bio units. Goblin here to help with that on both fronts. Seesaws back to the other side of the map. Blinks forward though. Liberator comes up, sieges, concave of marauders. Disruptors join the fray. Observer spotted, Venn dias scan. Clem guns it down, and without the vision, Goblin's gonna have a tough time following this up safely. Another scan. How many orbitals for Clem? He's only got 4. He's using everything on those scans. A double drop to the right flank. What's in there? Those are just marauders. He hasn't had Widow Mines since he floated his factory, remember? Oh, a fleet beacon. And he has that +1 air weapons on the way. I don't think this is going to be carriers at this stage. This is more of a Tempest situation. Yep. The Tempest has some guaranteed long-range damage. Maybe forcing out more Vikings, which are not the ideal choice against this mass Stalker Disruptor composition. You do want to be able to build up the Liberator count. Both sides taken to the skies. Understanding the biggest danger. Clem has to pick up, get out. The Stalker's not quite able to chase it down. Goblin with a nice amount of probes, leaving open a lot of army supply. Good vision via units here. Clem closing in yet again, takes down the rocks, opens the path. And on the other side, a fusion core. Disruptors, not finding the mark. Clem splits and collapses back in. Charge lots warped in and Clem's already boosted away. The Nexus essentially isolated and killed. The Disruptor's not able to land. He can't go too far forward with them. A DT's warped in. The Vision... Are these observers? How many observers does he have? Only 3. He's doing a great job getting vision. Of course, Clem has scan, so whenever he needs vision, he usually has it. Another scan forward. Fuel battery overcharged preemptively. The Venn diagram of freedom here from the Liberators, but the Tempests are starting to work on them. They need to target fire the Liberators at range here. A Disruptor flank. Oh. Doesn't find it, but the guaranteed damage and just the sheer range. There need to be more Vikings. Clem in full retreat. The Tempests have built up in numbers so quickly. The Liberators cannot challenge them. There aren't nearly enough Marines, and they can't get close enough. The Vikings are the only realistic option against the Tempests right now. As Goblin continues to siege. A single Liberator at the back, 2 Phoenixes with literally 1 HP. No, wait. I said literally, but it's actually 3 and 5. Literally, figuratively. The Tempest. Clem just arcing out, dividing and looking to conquer. But honestly, Goblin's Tempest choice, he was able to get enough of them out. A lot when you see players go for the Fleet Beacon, especially against people like Clem, it feels like a desperation move. It feels like, oh, well, let's see if I can maybe get enough of these, and these usually carriers. But in this case, Goblin is holding on to enough economy to make it work, and you saw it drove Clem back to his side of the map. Forced him to regroup, and is going to limit the potential ground army, which is a big part of actually winning this here for Goblin. Is there... do you recall? This is a really rough spot. Actually, as soon as I said, like, Goblin stabilizing, he's kind of just giving up this base and all the probes. Clem with a beautiful multi-prong. He drew the majority of the army of Goblin to the left flank. Well, the vast majority of his supply went to the right. And Goblin couldn't really make a decision. He defended the left, but the Tempests are the unit that needs to be there in order to really put up a defense. And without the Tempests, well, Goblin loses the bottom right base. Nuclear missiles on the way. As that's one more thing we haven't seen in this game yet, in the increasingly small number. Clem brings the whole army together. The gang's all here. The Vikings are closing in. A carrier in the front going to be gunned down immediately. A lot of wasted minerals on that one. Liberator's trying to zone out. Those Dorito-dusted Tempest almost blinking into his own disruptors as Goblin. The disruptors are too far behind the fight. They're a danger to themselves and not much else. Goblin is suddenly down to 4 bases. He has almost no income. Clem has just put on a masterclass. It looked like Goblin had a feel for it, but Clem is showing why he's arguably the best Terran in Europe. Goblin has been playing scared ever since that one fight with the Colossi and with the single Colossus and the Phoenix. Despite arguably having more map control, Clem has been dictating the pace of this game. It looks like a strong attack, but Clem's in the main. He's gutting the production. He's forcing this into kind of an all-in. And, well, they say never base trade a Terran. Not as true in Legacy of the Void as it might have been before, but this is a tough situation for Goblin. He has to make some very hard decisions. Clem is still producing at full tilt right now, whereas Goblin may be fully tilted. The Blink Stalkers come forward. Where are my nukes, Clem? Where are my nukes? You built those nukes. Now it's time to use them. A recall. Wow, beautiful. He actually manages to catch his entire army with a recall and is going to try to chase this down. I think well-timed there. About as good as you're going to get. You don't want to recall on top of an army that can shave off some of your key units, but at the same time, you don't want to recall under fire. You see so many Protoss players just recalling, like, half their army as it's getting bombarded. But Clem, that's not even his main. That's just another... I don't know where this orbital came from, but it's here now. Unfortunately, long-distance mining is not the ideal situation. Despite Goblin making some good moves, Clem is winning the war. These disruptors have just not found their targets. They've been behind the fight. They've been a day late. They've been a few dollars short. And now there's a lot on it. He really needs those disruptors to hit the mark so his stalkers can do the rest. Disruptors as the most dangerous force fields. I mean... the Viking, he's at 19 Vikings. He's got 2 nukes still. I'm waiting for it, Clem. But I don't... the orbital from the right side, the 9 o'clock or 3 o'clock. What time is it? Goblin warping in 6 more stalkers with essentially the rest of his money. Oh, not again. These disruptors are just way too far back. Too timid. It's not an issue we see often, but not nearly enough here for Goblin. Clem is dismantling the army. Thing is, Clem could lose this entire army and likely rebuild it. At least most of it, whereas Goblin can't lose anything. I'm not even sure where Clem won this battle, but at some point, well, I think it was when he split the army at the 4th, when he drew Goblin off to the side, and then took out the entire right side of the map. That was when Goblin just couldn't make a decision in time. Clem forced the issue. Finally, the disruptors land, but it's far too late. Clem takes it. Oh, but Goblin putting up a solid fight. I think he's got a shot. I really liked the opener as well. He handled it. Just got to simmer down a little. Clem, he mines minerals the same as everyone else. That's the scariest part of StarCraft, I think, for most people, is you start with the same amount of SCVs as Clem, the same amount of probes as Hero, same amount of drones as Serral. But it's what you do with them. And Goblin, he had the tools, he just jumped the gun a little bit. If he pulls it back, finds his timing, we got a series on our hands. All right, game 2. I said game 2. Thank you, game 2. 2,000 atmospheres. A lot of pressure on Goblin. It's not all the map. A win against Clem is usually gonna help you dramatically. If Clem's in your group, in your bracket, he's likely to be the hardest opponent. I think it just felt so smooth how Clem dismantled that. It was beautifully done. Just always drawing too much army to the wrong side. He saw, and that's the best way to deal with the disruptors, because disruptors, yes, they're very strong, but you kind of need them all to be together. You gotta have those death balls and a death ball. It becomes incredibly unwieldy to split your disruptors. On paper, yeah, sure, have an army with like 2-3 disruptors on either side. But you're just as likely to end up shooting yourself in your own stalker's fancy feet as you are to manage to defend on multiple fronts. That is why the multi-pronged attacks are so effective, because Goblin really needed to force the issue, and Clem just didn't let him. So yeah, just take that one home to the ladder bank and say, like, well, here's what you do. You just don't let them attack. Okay, you just micro multiple medevacs, keep them busy, and then you're fine. No problem. Oh, there. Probe. Taking a surprising amount of damage. He keeps it alive. Dangerously close to not being true. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. He's doing the bunker thing. I'm still not... This is a power move. I don't think the bunker is worth it, like, mathematically. 9 times out of 10. If you can get a couple extra probes, sure, but in terms of the mental damage, Protoss should know all about this. Protoss with their probe blocks and probe harass against Zerg, and against Protoss, and against Terran. Nope. Like, in every matchup, Protoss players with early worker shenanigans. Oh no. Oh my god. This is... Well, technically, stalkers shoot a projectile. Which means technically the SCV can dodge it into the bunker. Oh my god. And so can the rear. Oh, come on. Hey, it's... Is he gonna have... Oh my god. He's gonna deal with it eventually. Like... Oh, and he salvages! Okay, the SCV dies. At least he gets something. The consolation prize. But... Oh my god. Clem. The Reaper's already in the base. Will he get another probe? Actually missed a few shots. The probe's angrily here. Oh, come on. No, no, no. Kill it. Thank you. There's a Hellion out on the map. He's here to block the third, but he may send it in if he sees the stalkers on the other side. Blink on the way. Oh my god, he found the probe. He got the probe. The stalker's on the wrong side. Now, the bunker's not done on this side, but there are enough Marines to make things difficult. He may be able to target down a couple. But, well, stalkers, well-microed stalkers are a menace. Especially to Marines without combat shield or medevacs. It's just an exercise in futility. No one likes being on the receiving end of, well, if he micros perfectly, then I just can't do anything. That never feels great. The Hellion gets in, might even get a kill. It does. Confirms the blank, which was already a strong suspicion. The third base has been delayed over a minute from when Goblin originally wanted to take it. It's around 4 minutes and 10 seconds. Maybe 20. Not just sending out 2 probes. Stalkers blinking across the map. How many gates? 3 gate blink? 2 gate. Yeah, he definitely wanted that third quicker. Oof. Robotics Bay in production. Forge for upgrades. Charge on the way to follow it up. Might as well fill it in, I guess. The stalkers were held at home for so long. I can't see. Oh yeah, that's... He didn't have vision. Oh, he does have vision of the tank. He kills the SCV, but... There's more than enough at home here. Clem is not going to have any issues with dealing with the blink stalkers, at least for now. There was a Raven. Where's that Raven? Raven sent out on the map. Gonna go throw some missile turrets. Nope, not missile turrets. They're angry cousins. The auto turret. Kill some probes. But not there, though. Don't be ridiculous. I always question, like, is it worth it? Because you saw the robo. Yeah, you saw the robo. Do you want to use your energy before you have an opportunity to go for, like, an interference matrix? I don't... well, he's gonna slap it down. He's gonna get 2 probes. In fact, targeting the shield battery. And this is all seconds before the army moves across the map. Goblin doing a good job microing his stalkers, but the medevacs are out, and that's gonna make things a lot more difficult. Is there enough energy for an interference matrix? There's about to be one. That Colossus is everything. The delay on the shield battery is not going to be so much that he's not going to have the option. The Colossus is spotted. The Raven going to try to come in. If he gets an interference matrix, great force field. Forces Clem to pick up. The force field in the most obvious spot, but also by far the most effective on that ramp. The double medevac is picked up at home for Clem. He is not slouching on his macro. Whereas Goblin, on the other hand, has some money in the bank, building more pylons, Colossus chrono boosted during a supply block. Oh, that hurts so bad. Auto turrets coming in. There's no shield battery near the mineral line because he took the first one out. Clem once again looking to pull apart Goblin with some simple but effective moves. Goblin still at a comfortable probe count. He's alright for now. Oh, and then the Widow Mines drop. It could be worse. Almost grabs the medevac. The Raven is back there. It is... Clem's definitely in the lead. But Goblin is not rolling over just yet. He's got a fourth on the way. Disruptors. He's just chronoing out. 3 Colossi enough to easily burn away the Marines. We'll have to see. Ghost Academy. Armory. Filling in the blanks for Clem. Is that... Oh, the perfectly placed observer here actually gets about the best possible spot. Surprised Clem hasn't put up a turret or something to shut that down yet. I don't know if he knows it's there, even though it's by far the most obvious observer placement. Well, Goblin definitely saw that move out. A scan on the 4th. Goblin moves into the scan, reveals the disruptor, which is the important information here. And on seeing that disruptor, Clem immediately loads up 2 medevacs to join up with a 3rd. Gonna do whatever he can to pull apart these RoboBay units and make them less effective and harder to control. Divide and conquer. That's the name of the game here for Clem. Some people said command and conquer, but no. No, that's copyright infringement. Vikings working their way in towards the 4th. Scan on the 3rd. Spots a relatively small army. Clem rotates around. His army's moving towards the center of the map. I don't know what happened to Goblin's observer here. Disruptor looked like it could be bad, but at the last second, as usual, Clem makes the right moves and negates the damage. The ghosts show up. Take a swipe or 2. EMPs are landing, but shield battery overcharge is keeping things intact. The Viking count is high enough to make things very dangerous here, though, for Goblin. He's got to be careful. The army coming in from the left flank knocks down a Colossus. The 2nd Colossus already stripped of shields. The Vikings in a good spot. The Disruptors have to land. There has to be some decent Disruptor shots. He gets the tanks. That's something here. Goblin, though, left without Colossi. Last Disruptor hit. Oh, that's a good chunk. That might be enough to turn the tides. And the current has to shift right now if Goblin is to stay alive. Oh, the auto turrets. All 4 turrets. Oh, he hit the select all army key. I am 90% sure. Clem. The 2nd pylon at the back almost gets a Disruptor with the dying turrets of the Raven. But the Disruptor count is now high enough. Clem just not quite able to break through. The Disruptor hits good enough. He's keeping him near the front this time. It's always a dangerous game, but you gotta ride that edge if you're ever gonna cut through the army. Widowmine drop heading towards the 3rd. Spotted by the observer. Are there any warpins or any units to deal with it? There's a cannon. There's a kid. That cannon might work. Well, the probes move away. Good reaction. Widowmine's all over the place. Goblin's still struggling to put enough army on the field. Clem has a 4th and a 5th on the way back at home. His economy once again starting to severely outstrip that of Goblin, especially once the mules land. But the Disruptors are intact. There are no Liberators on the field. And that leaves it up to Chance and Micro. Which, Clem in no short supply of either of those or supply itself. Oh my god. It saves the ghost. What a save! But the volleys continue. Cuts off some of the units here. Disruptors wandering up. But 1 unit at a time is not going to cut it. He's going to need more than that. Is he out of Disruptor shots? No, he's got a few cooled down. Those units just continually stimming. The charge lots being spent to push the army back. And for now, well, Goblin has money in the bank. Another Ruptor wanders around the side. Clem now finally adding in Liberators. Ship weapons. Enhanced shock waves. Up against the +3 attack and +2 armor of Goblin. Another scan. Oh my god. He's expecting a drop. When you see a scan like that, it's not just Clem scouting out. He's looking for an opportunity to move his army. And, well, he's gonna... Oh, the Vikings! I didn't even notice for a second. The Vikings cosplaying Byun units here, and why not? The Colossi are no longer a factor, so... On the ground, not bad against the Stalkers and Ruptors, as we already mentioned. And if they get to the probe line, they actually kind of tear it apart. And it's only 2 hits to kill a probe from those Vikings on the ground. Their note, where the Ruptors... He's gonna try to split his Ruptors, it looks like. He's got 9 of the danger balls. Oh. Well, he needs to. He needs to do something. Here's the main army on the left flank. The Disruptors are not here. The Liberator's already set up. Shield battery overcharge. The shield battery barely intact. The Disruptors bring it to the left. On the right, here comes Clem yet again. He's gonna have to have Disruptors on both sides. This is so hard to control. Oh my god. Well, I mean, I couldn't have asked for a better demonstration of how stressful it is than that, as he almost literally shoots himself in the face. Oh, gonna be careful not to Dick Cheney this one right now, but Disruptors wander back to the left flank. He either needs some sort of additional splash damage or just to keep most of his gateway units there. Oh, stressful! Well, here comes the fleet beacon. Advanced ballistics on the fusion core. The tech tree is expanding here for both sides, but Clem is just so much more comfortable with it. He's just so good at keeping the Protoss player on the back foot. It's so hard to be consistent with this, but his micro is... Goblin's just not able to keep up so far. He really needs... It was last game when we saw long-distance mining in the late game. Not an ideal... Before the map is mined out, long-distance mining is a sign of total desperation. An exploratory volley. Goblin is just unable to manage Disruptors on either side. The Liberators... Stalkers are annexing the base. Liberators... I meant Liberators in this case. Liberators on either side. Forcing micro, but... The Stalkers are just picked apart. The sheer Liberator count. He's got 9 of them on the field. Clem is so good about adding these power units in. And he splits them... He just takes the base. The base is gone. Goblin is just not able to deal with Liberators on both sides. I'm not sure if Zealots or Marauders died more there, but... Clem, Goblin putting up a fun fight, making a great punching bag, but... Clem just keeps wailing on him. Besides a few small battles, this was Clem all the way. In a fun series, but a decisive one for the Frenchman. A strong performance, and one I'm still glad I watched. I hope you enjoyed as well. Like, subscribe, check out this video. Jimmy, put the video up. I hope you enjoyed this one and that. Or recommended. We're doing recommended too. But what do you think? What is the best way to deal with Clem? Do you really have to cheese? I don't know if there are any other Protoss out there. Or are there better options? Thank you for watching. Oh yeah, and also, broccoli or cauliflower? You watch till the end. You gotta have an opinion. Thank you for watching. Good luck, have fun. I'll see you next time. I hope I made your day a little bit better. Stay tuned. Cut. Edit it out.